this figure running through. This is in slow motion.
Get in the house! Get in the house!
A skier was enjoying his run when he suddenly caught sight of something strange.
You better watch out, you better not die, you better not crash, I'm telling you why, 'cause you told your wife you're at work.
What at first? In the distance, a dark silhouette could be seen peering out from behind a tree. It's he. Unfortunately, the recording ends abruptly at this point, leaving what may have happened next completely unknown. A hunter placed a trail camera deep in the Canadian backcountry, hoping to catch ordinary wildlife on film. Instead, the recording captured something entirely different. Through the brush, a massive figure emerges. Its sheer size unmistakable. The creature appears agitated, snapping branches and hurling them aside before vanishing back into the forest. Some argue this could simply be a person dressed up, yet others point to the creature's build and raw power. Witnesses estimate it stood close to 7 feet tall, with a frame far wider than any average human. So what's your take? A staged hoax or genuine evidence of Bigfoot caught on camera? On June 8, 2018, Danny and his wife set out on a hike through a local park, capturing the scenery on video.
Did you hear that? What was it? What was that?
At first, nothing seemed out of the ordinary, but when they later reviewed the footage, something strange caught their attention. A dark figure appeared to be peering out from behind a tree. The shape looked bulky, with a form that seemed human-like. Some have suggested it could have been a bear, yet bears are rarely spotted in that region. So, could this be something else entirely? Scott Carpenter returned to a remote stretch of forest to continue his Bigfoot investigation. He went back to a stick structure he had built on an earlier trip, only to find it disturbed.
Yeah, they're getting a little loud. I balanced a stick right here, and I actually put it underneath there, and I'll have to go back and kind of show it on the previous video. But I stuck the stick in there and balanced it, and the balance stick has been pulled out. It's laying on the ground and it's been snapped in two. See where it's been snapped? I don't know where the other half is. There's the lower half. I've wedged it in there, so I don't think the wind blew it out or snapped it in two.
A single balancing stick that had been wedged in place was now lying on the ground, snapped clean in two. The broken half sat nearby. The other piece was missing. Scott inspected the break and argued it didn't look like the result of wind or ordinary wear. Similar tampering had been reported in other investigations, he noted. Structures deliberately altered or dismantled. As he moved deeper into the woods, faint rustling and the occasional crack of branches echoed through the trees. The atmosphere felt charged, like something was watching. Then suddenly, he caught movement.
I saw movement. Something darted behind this tree or darted in this area. Scared the crap out of me. Black. Large. It looked like I saw his trailing arm, see, or his butt. Of course, there won't be anything here. No sign, no footprints.
Something darted behind a tree and vanished into the undergrowth. From a distance, it appeared dark and large, briefly revealing the sweep of an arm or the shape of a rear before disappearing between the trunks. He hurried toward the spot, but found no immediate signs.
Alright, it's possible footfall right there. See that? There we go. See, look, this is just barely, you can barely tell it. There it is. Okay, there we go. I'm not a total buffoon. There's a footprint right here. I'll have to dissect it for you because you can barely see it, but I'll show it to you. Right up here's the toes. Right there's the heel mark. That's a big old boy too. Shit. I need a partner. Anyway, excuse the French. Right here's the toes. You see where the earth is disturbed. See, look right here. And, stuff. Look there. That's me. See? The toes hit here. The heel dug in here. Foot's right there. I'm not stopping to measure this thing because I'm too freaking spooked. But I'm gonna put my boot's 13 inches long. That's a good 3 inches longer than my boot. So that's a 16, 17 inch track. And like I said, right here's the heel mark. Let me clean this out, maybe you can see it. See it now? I'll try to highlight it. But you can definitely see the toe marks here. He dug his toes in. Right there's his footprint, one of them.
No obvious tracks at first glance. A short distance on, however, he discovered a clear impression in the mud. Kneeling down, he cleaned away debris and examined the depression. The print showed distinct toe and heel marks, a deep heel impression and clawed toe breaks where the ground had been dug in. Compared to his own boot, the impression was far larger. Using his boot as a rough reference, he estimated the print measured well beyond his size 13 sole, approximately 16 to 17 inches long. The depth and definition suggested substantial weight behind the step. Scott photographed and highlighted the impression, calling attention to the toe indentations and the pronounced heel mark. Standing there, surrounded by snapped branches and the silence of the forest, he felt unnerved. A freshly broken balancing stick, the fleeting glimpse of a large dark figure, and a massive footprint in the mud. Taken together, Scott was convinced something had been moving through those woods that day. Jared spent his birthday alone in a remote Idaho forest, where the access roads were closed and he didn't see another person all day. He launched his new drone that afternoon to film the ridgelines and the quiet woods. The early footage was peaceful, sweeping views of trees and empty trails, until something unexpected showed up later in the recording.
Farragut State Park, and I had all the roads were closed, so I was pretty much the only one back there. I hadn't seen any cars coming through. Beautiful views. I hadn't seen anybody or anything until right here, and I'm gonna zoom in here a little bit, slow it down, and you can just see this figure running through. This is in slow motion, and then a little bit later you'll see it in between the trees running through at full speed. It's very quick, but
high in the tree line near the center of the frame, a dark shape can be seen breaking cover and running away through the trees. The figure moves upright and at speed, carrying itself between the trunks where there was no established trail. There were no other people around, no vehicles, and no nearby sounds to explain it. The movement appeared too large and too quick to be a bear moving on all fours, and its upright gait looked human, except for the size and the way it covered ground. It ran out of view and vanished into the forest. After a thorough search of the area, Jared found the surroundings empty. Nothing else was found to account for what the drone recorded. What he captured on video remains unexplained. On May 18, 2025, a trail camera set deep in the woods recorded something unusual. The exact location wasn't revealed, but reports place it somewhere in the United States. In the footage, a tall, ape-like figure stands among the trees. The most striking detail is an intense eye shine, a reflective glare you don't see in humans. Since there are no native apes in the US, the sighting raises a single question. Could this be evidence of Bigfoot? A Reddit user set out to find a cave in the forests of Middle Tennessee, but came across something unexpected along the way. In the mud, they noticed a set of unusual impressions. The tracks appeared small, almost childlike, with both toes pressed firmly into the ground, as if whatever made them was gripping the earth while moving forward. Observers pointed out how distinctly humanoid the prints seemed, unlike those typically left by known wildlife. While the discovery didn't provide concrete proof of anything, it stirred plenty of curiosity. Some even speculated the impressions might belong to a juvenile Bigfoot. While walking through Provo Canyon, a man was taking in the quiet of the forest when something unexpected occurred.
What the?
From the tree line, a large, shadowy figure suddenly appeared, moving into view. What stands out most is the man's reaction. He ducked behind a simple split rail fence for cover. If a towering creature truly was present, would that flimsy barrier offer any real protection? But there were no zoos in the vicinity, and no reports of exotic pets in the region. Whatever the figure may have been, it left witnesses puzzled, and more than a little unsettled. A Reddit user was driving deep into the mountains around Whitefish, Montana, near the edge of his uncle's remote property, while looking for wildlife like deer and bears. At one point, he pulled the vehicle over after spotting what at first resembled a moose or elk, partly concealed by thick brush. When the animal turned and stared back, everything about the scene shifted. The look unsettled him, and memories of local legends, like the Wendigo, came rushing to mind. With that uneasy feeling settling in, he couldn't shake the sense that something else might be lurking nearby. In the end, what he actually saw remains unexplained. A lone hiker had ventured deep into the wilderness, enjoying the quiet until he completely lost track of time. After hours of walking, he reached a dense stand of pine trees when the silence broke. Heavy movement echoed from the other side of the brush. Something large was forcing its way through. Expecting a bear or another big animal, he quickly pulled out his phone to record. But what appeared on camera was far from ordinary, and far more chilling than he could have imagined. A man was driving through a region long associated with Sasquatch sightings, keeping an eye out for anything unusual. That's when he spotted it. A tree bent sharply and pinned behind another, an odd formation in the middle of the woods. On its own, it might not seem like much, but in an area with a history of Bigfoot reports, the detail felt significant. Some argued that only Bigfoot could have bent and placed the tree in such a way. Others countered that it might have simply grown like that over time, since a sudden bend would have caused it to snap. So what do you think? Natural growth or evidence of something else in those woods? While out in the Pacific Northwest, a family noticed something strange at the edge of the forest. In broad daylight, movement caught their attention.
Motorcycle. Okay. Don't move in there. No, there's a motorcycle. See?
I don't see nothing down there. Can't be the motorcycles, honey. There's another sparkle. You see what I'm
What's
saying?
that? What is that?
Tree.
No. You moved it, right? Right there. See it?
Uh-huh.
Look.
There's nobody there. I can't see.
Look. Isn't it those people?
Can't be.
There's nobody.
Not up in the
down-
trees.
There's nobody down there no more. See?
A tall figure, nearly 8 feet tall, seemed to move close to the tree line and blend into the foliage as it passed. They managed to record the sighting, but the distance and the camera's limited quality make it hard to identify what exactly appears in the footage. What they captured that day remains unclear. In 2014, while hiking near Lake Ontario, a man heard an unusual rustling in the bushes. Curious, he pulled out his camera to see what might be causing the noise. What he captured was unsettling. A crouched, humanoid figure partly concealed by the foliage. It appeared broad, hairy, and hunched, watching from the shadows. Then, as if aware it was being filmed, the figure suddenly retreated into the forest, vanishing almost instantly. The man never got a closer look, leaving only the question: what exactly did he encounter that day in the woods? In May 2019, a fisherman in the United States set out alone to film a quiet day by a small stream. The outing felt peaceful: calm water, still air, and nothing seemed unusual while he was shooting. But later, during the edit, he noticed something he hadn't seen in person. Just past the tree line, a large, dark shape stepped briefly into view before slipping back into the woods. Some viewers dismissed it as a trick of light or a passing shadow, while others argued it looked like Bigfoot. What stands out most, though, is a faint white mark in the frame that resembles a face, a detail that, to some, rules out a simple shadow. So what did he actually capture on that stream bank that day? While hiking through New River Gorge in West Virginia, a woman stumbled on an enormous rock formation that looked less like a natural outcrop and more like a man-made structure. From a distance, it blended with the scenery, but up close, the shapes and patterns were oddly symmetrical. One section even resembled a massive doorway carved into stone. Even stranger were the huge, deep impressions found on its surface. Some insist it's all natural, erosion, and coincidence. Others wonder if something enormous might once have lived here. On July 12, 2013, a man uploaded a chilling video to the Legends Beware channel, documenting what began as an ordinary family visit to Otter, Blue Ridge, Georgia. What started out as a peaceful outing quickly turned strange when
Get in the house! Get in the house!
While filming the scenery, he noticed something unusual at the tree line. Curiosity led him to follow the figure into the woods in hopes of getting a clearer view. As he moved closer, the creature emitted a series of unsettling sounds that raised alarm. Some viewers were quick to dismiss the footage as a person in a costume, while others pointed to the creature's size, shape, and movement, and argued it might be a juvenile Bigfoot. Someone eventually tried to approach for a closer look, but the sighting ended without a definitive answer. Was it a prank, or something far stranger? A man in Washington recently shared a blurry photograph he says shows Bigfoot outside his remote cabin. In the image, a shadowy shape seems to be peering through a window at night, watching from the darkness. The photo quickly stirred conversation online, but most viewers remained skeptical. In an era when nearly everyone carries a high-end camera in their pocket, people are left asking the same question: why do these pictures still turn out so unclear? In May 2025, a man reviewing footage from a trail camera he'd set deep in the woods spotted something chilling. About 25 meters away, partially hidden among the trees, a large dark figure stood motionless. It looked far too tall and far too broad, and it moved in a way that didn't resemble any animal he knew. Was this genuine footage of Bigfoot, or simply a moment that felt a little too perfectly timed to be real? On May 26, 2025, a man posted a photo on X saying his tour guide had shown it to him. In the image, one person is walking toward the camera while another fires a flash to take the shot, and the flash accidentally freezes something eerie in the frame. Behind them, a pair of glowing eyes and a large humanoid shape appear to be staring straight at the lens. So what do you think? Pareidolia and camera artifact or evidence of Bigfoot? A hiker spotted a figure moving in an odd, almost unnatural way. At first, he assumed it was a person, but the creature's size and gait raised doubts. Someone zoomed in to get a better look, yet the image stayed blurry and indistinct. There's no clear information about who filmed it or where it happened, but something about the sighting felt off. A separate poster shared a photo online, claiming they'd seen Bigfoot while camping. Initially, they thought it might be a bear, but the way it walked didn't match a bear's movement. The subject was too far away for a clear view, so they snapped a picture intending to examine it later. When they zoomed in, the body looked more ape-like. which is puzzling, since apes don't live wild in that region. It remained unclear what exactly was captured, but naturally, many viewers immediately suspected Bigfoot. In a quiet stretch of Southern California mountains, a group of hikers came across something they couldn't believe. Hunched just behind the brush sat a massive figure, tall, broad, and clearly larger than a normal person. Its size alone made it seem impossible. Curious, a YouTuber who goes by Thunker examined the photo. He started by checking the lighting and shadows. Everything matched the surrounding scene. Next, he ran a color DNA test, boosting saturation to reveal signs of digital tampering. In doctored images, altered areas usually jump out during that process, but here nothing looked out of place. The tones and textures blended seamlessly with the natural background. His conclusion was blunt. Whatever appeared in the frame was present when the picture was taken. So the question remains, did they really capture Bigfoot on camera? Team members Kirk, Shane, and Dave examined thermal footage showing a bipedal shape moving through the woods. Unlike the usual clear thermal images of people, where backpacks, jackets, and other gear show up distinctly, this recording revealed no equipment at all. There was no pack, no hat, no outline of clothing, only a clean heat silhouette, even when the image was blown up to 200% zoom. Later clips included hunters who registered obvious gear on the same thermal camera, highlighting the difference. In another segment, a heat spike briefly appears from behind a tree, matching the timing of the original sighting. The team even attempted to recreate the first clip, but their reenactment didn't fully match. They ultimately labeled the footage inconclusive, though the absence of any visible gear makes this case stand out from every human captured by that camera. While hunting in Salt Fork State Park, Ohio, a man suddenly spotted something out of the ordinary. A large ape-like creature moved silently through the trees.
See all the hair? It'd be stupid to walk out here in a suit and get shot. He's right behind that tree. And his hair's gray and black. Is that gray? Is that snow? That's not snow. It's gray. Brown, gray.
Its coat a mix of gray and black. It appeared towering and broad, far too realistic to be a costume, and far too risky for anyone to be wearing in an active hunting area. Some locals think he may have encountered the Ohio grassman, a regional legend said to build grass nests and roam the rural woods. Reports of similar creatures in Ohio go back as far as 1869. A man flew his drone over a quiet lake in northern Maine while scouting for a new fishing spot. He wasn't chasing legends, just enjoying a calm day. Later that evening, as he reviewed the footage, something strange appeared along the tree line. A tall figure covered in dark fur walking upright on two legs. After seeing it, he went back and filmed the area again, hoping to catch it a second time. But the figure was gone. He uploaded the clip online, asking if anyone could explain what he'd recorded that day. In 2009, a video titled Yellow Top Bigfoot was uploaded to YouTube showing a creature with a yellowish patch of hair on its head moving through the woods near Rocky Mountain National Park in Colorado. The clip resurfaced recently after being reposted, drawing fresh attention and comparisons to the famous Patterson-Gimlin footage. Those similarities, however, were weak. The figure appeared small, moved awkwardly, and had arm proportions more like a human's than an ape's. Over time, the story unraveled. The original uploader eventually admitted the footage was staged as part of a short film promotion. In the end, it turned out to be a man in a suit, not proof of an unknown primate. A Redditor claimed to have captured a strange groan deep in the woods. The uploader is nearly sure it was Bigfoot. He says it came from the same area where he thought he had seen the creature once before. While the audio was just a few seconds, it stirred quite a few reactions online from curiosity to disbelief. The comment section lit up, but the uploader vanished soon after saying undercover cops paid him a visit. In 2018, a video surfaced claiming to show the elusive Honey Island swamp monster. It was originally shot by Harlan Ford, a retired air traffic controller deep in the Louisiana bayou. Locals say this creature is over 7 feet tall, covered in dark gray hair, and gives off a foul stench of decay. Its tracks are bizarre, webbed like an alligator's yet shaped like a man's. Then it vanishes into the thick swamp mist, leaving behind only fear and speculation. In this recently resurfaced image, something large stands half submerged in the water. According to commentators, its visible height above the surface appears to be around 6 feet. If the water is even 2 feet deep, that would make the figure at least 8 to 10 feet tall. There isn't much background information available about the photo, so the possibility of a hoax can't be ruled out still. It looks so real. While hiking in Provo Canyon, Utah, 2 friends noticed something moving in the distance.
What's he doing? Does he think it's a bear?
At first, it looked like a black bear, but when the creature stood upright, it became obvious it was not a bear. The figure appeared humanoid and was covered in dark fur.
Probably should be too close to it, huh? Oh, cool though. Let's go.
Once it became aware of the hikers, the situation turned tense. Fearing for their safety, the pair ran away. While hiking through the woods, a man noticed something odd off in the distance. He heard the brush snapping, then caught sight of a large dark shape moving between the trees.
See much up through here. I hear the brush popping and stuff. Oh, there he goes.
The filmer says the clip is untouched and hasn't been edited. The creature in the footage doesn't match any known animal, which led some viewers to hail it as possible proof of Bigfoot. Skeptics, however, maintain it could be an elaborate hoax. Your friend 16 recently uploaded a 15-second clip titled, "This video I took at a lake, filmed during a peaceful hike." The video begins with the calm sounds of nature. Then a sudden, terrifying scream rips through the quiet. It might have been an animal native to the area, but there's an unsettlingly human quality to the sound. Viewers were left uneasy, and now we move on to the next set of terrifying encounters. On June 16, 2024, a strange photo began circulating on Facebook. It showed a tall, fur-covered figure, but something was off. Its arms hung much lower than normal, and its body looked unusually thin and upright. Very different from the Bigfoot seen in classic sightings like Patterson's or those reported in Ohio. Nothing about this figure matched what we've seen before. Some began to wonder, was this even a Bigfoot at all? Or could it have been something else entirely? While filming a quiet afternoon in his university's nature preserve, Christian later noticed something odd when he reviewed the footage. A tall, upright figure moving through the trees. The shape looked covered in dark fur. Too human to be a normal animal, yet too strange to be an ordinary person. Its movement didn't match a deer or a bear. The gait was different. The clip quickly went viral across campus, and even a biology professor commented that if Bigfoot were real, that preserve would be a plausible place to find one. What Christian recorded remains unexplained. Hopefully it wasn't just a prank. That's all for tonight's video. Which encounter gave you chills? Let us know in the comments below. Got your own experience? We want to hear it. And whatever you do, don't miss what's coming next.